Good morning. Welcome to Workforce Skills with John Morris. Once again, Monday morning out here in Phoenix, Arizona. I want to thank everybody for sticking around with us, for subscribing. If you enjoy watching us, like and subscribe. If you enjoy listening, like and subscribe. Our subscriptions are shooting through the roof. Every week we're getting more and more, and I really appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity and following me and making this such a success. All I do is come on here and talk. All I do is talk about what I'm dealing with each week. I talk about the ins and outs of my business, of what we've done to help individuals get back to work through our vocational programs. I love what I do, but sometimes there's a sacrifice. Sometimes you have to rethink the way you're doing things. I want to talk about habits and how the little habits are changing everything we do. I don't think we realize even right now, you're making a habit, you're making a choice to listen to this. It's a habit if you're following me every single week that you choose to do this. What is going through your mind to make you do these things? When you think about habits, what am I doing every day when I wake up? What's the first thing I do? What's the second thing? I have a routine, everything from getting up to putting my bathrobe on to making my cup of coffee in the morning to turning the news on, checking emails. There's a pattern to what I do. When I walk in front of my sink, I do things identical every single time. I comb my beard, I brush my teeth, deodorant, lotion, cologne. It's a habit. And what created this habit? And how can we change our habits? What about bad habits, good habits? What bad habits are we doing right now that we shouldn't be doing? And how do we change that? Simple habit of me going for a walk. It started slow and it continued. You know, you might be trying to create a habit of going to the gym, and you've got this idea that you're going to work out, you're going to get healthy, you're going to eat right, you're going to go to the gym for 2 hours and work out. Well, maybe setting that habit of 2 hours right off the bat isn't the right thing to do. Maybe the first step is create the habit of putting your tennis shoes on. Because if you go to the gym for 2 hours, you know, we talked about National Quitters Day a couple weeks ago. It's the second Friday of every January. And everybody quits their New Year's resolutions. We have to start slow with a habit. A habit starts with something simple. If I want to go for a walk every day after work, but I come home and I turn the TV on or I do something else or I check an email, that puts the habit of walking off to the side. It's been a couple times I blew it off. It's been a long day. I've already been home for 20 minutes. I'm not going to do it. What I've created as a habit for myself is I get home. First thing I do, my wife lets the dogs out the back door. I go straight to the closet and I change clothes into my sweatpants, my tennis shoes. I put my walking clothes on. That's the first step of a habit. That habit starts the process. Makes it easier. I'm one step closer to that goal. I'm one step closer to my commitment of what I need to do for myself. I'm not going to go out and run a marathon. I'm not going to go out and walk the 800-mile hike that I'm planning on in the next couple of years. It's just not going to happen. It starts with one step. And when I first started walking, it started around the block. Then it went around part of our neighborhood. Then it went outside the neighborhood, through the main gate, and back into the neighborhood. It kept getting larger and larger. I had a 10-mile walk that I have paced off. I got a 6, 8, and a 10. And as of Saturday morning, I now have a 12-mile. And Sunday, I did a 12-mile. That is the new norm for me. So now, every day, today when I get home from work, straight to the closet, change my clothes, I will be out there for a 12-mile walk. It's going to happen. It's a process. But it didn't start first day, hey, I'm going to do 12 miles. Just recently, I'm noticing there's certain pains, aches and pains that are going away from the walks. It's not as difficult. It's not as strenuous on my body. It's getting easier. So if you start small, if you start simple with a habit, then you will eventually hit your goals. But you're not going to hit your goals on day one. You're not going to go to the gym and start working out and all of a sudden have these big bulky muscles or lose this weight. It starts with just changing the mindset. A habit starts with, if I want to eat healthy, what do I change? It starts by questioning everything I do. You don't have to go out and start eating healthy on day one. You look at it and you ask yourself, every time you go somewhere, you go to McDonald's, is this what a healthy person would do? That's what you have to ask yourself. If you're trying to lose weight and you're doing something, ask yourself, hey, is this something that someone who wants to lose weight would do? Just start that habit forming in your mind and see the change. It starts simple. If you struggle with reading, I know I'm kind of forcing the guys at work to read, and we're doing these books, and a couple of the other guys that aren't a part of our management team, but they're hearing about what we're doing. They're wanting to read the books. I got a guy who works for me, and he wants to read, and I gave him a book, and he's had it for now, I think, 2.5 months, and he's in chapter 4. Now, each chapter a read would be about 30, 35 minutes. He struggles reading. I told him, just start with one sentence. If you just start with one sentence, it's easy. But and it's fun. But if you try to force yourself to read a whole chapter and you struggle with it, you're going to quit because it's not fun. It's work. It's hard. You don't want to do it. But if you make it simple, read one sentence, and as you go through it, okay, after 4 or 5 days, okay, this is easy. I'm going to do 2 sentences. A couple more days, now you're up to a paragraph. A couple more days, maybe you're up to a page. It's simple. It's easy. It's not work. And you're retaining it. Talked to him this morning when he came into the shop, and I said, hey, how's it going with the book? Oh, I'm in chapter 4. And did you read this week? And he goes, you know what, John? I did. I was reading chapter 4. I read it to myself, and my mom came out. She was making breakfast. She asked what I was reading, and I told her. And she asked me to read it out loud to her. And now she's going to get the audio book, and she's going to start listening to it. And he's going to make it a habit to start reading a little bit to his mom every day as they're either eating dinner or whatever they're doing. It makes it fun. It's not a chore. It's not work. It's no different than me walking. I did a little bit. I put my Audible book in. I listened to it for a certain amount of time. Then I listened to some music. Some days I got a great book in. I can't stop listening to it. I listen to it the whole walk. Other days, can't do the Audible book. I've got to listen to music. I find what works for me to keep me motivated, to make it fun, to make it enjoyable, so it's not work. Now in these walks, there's no aches and pains. It's going away. Now it's just fun. I'm pushing through and I'm wanting to do more. I get done with that 12-mile walk and holy crap, I think I could do another 12 miles. And maybe that's what I eventually push myself to. Maybe that's the goal. Right now, I'm not ready for it. That's going to seem like work. It's too much. So I'm going to take baby steps and get myself there. And some of you out there are saying, 12 miles, that's not baby steps. But it was the first step. The first step was a baby step. It was around the block. Or maybe it's walking down the street to the mailbox. You have to ask yourself, what would a healthy person do? What would a person who wants to lose weight do? What would a person who wants to be successful at their job do? What do we change? You know, if I got to go down to the mailbox, am I going to drive or am I going to walk? If I'm about to hop in my car, what would a healthy person do? They'd walk. If I'm making dinner and I ask myself, I'm trying to lose weight, what would a person eat that's trying to lose weight? What would they do? It's just the process of thinking about it. That's all we're trying to do. We're trying to change that mindset. We're trying to form new habits within our mind. I've got guys that work for me. They come to work and they say, man, John, I enjoy coming to work. I wake up excited to come to work. But then I'm sure there's other people out there that, man, I hate coming to work. I don't like this. It's a grind. It's tough. And how do you change that mindset? It starts with one thing, finding the thing you enjoy the most about work and become better at it. Focus on that. And the things that you don't like, the things that are tough, take a little less time on those. Prioritize what you're doing to make it work. Prioritize it so it becomes a habit and it becomes something you do instantaneously, where you don't even think about it anymore. Going for a walk, don't even think about it anymore. That's just what I'm doing. Every week, my step count is getting higher and higher, and each week it's more than the last week. I never want to do less than what I did the previous week. I'm not going to let that happen. And that's something I'm forcing myself to do. But it started at one point, and now I'm at this point. It's going to continue. And the goal keeps rising. My goal next week is to do more than I did this week. There's no number on it. It's just more than what I previously did. It's becoming a habit, and it's becoming simple, and it's becoming something that I enjoy. I don't have to work about it. I don't have to think about it. I just do it. It's natural. And it's enjoyable when my wife wants to come take a walk with me once in a while. Now, she can't do the full walk like I do, but guess what? I'll do that with her and then still go for another walk and add some extra miles. Me and her went for a second walk yesterday. She wanted to do 5 miles. Hey, let's go. Let's do it. I'm ready. That's simple. But in my head, I really didn't want to go for a walk. I really didn't want to get out there again. I'd done enough steps for the day. I thought, you know what? I don't need this. No, let's just sit at home. Let's watch some TV. Football's on. And I want to get out of the house. I'm tired of watching TV. Let's go. Let's go for a walk. Okay. Once I was out there, it was easy. It was just the first step of getting out the front door. It was putting on the tennis shoes. That's all it took. And then we're out and moving. And we went a different route. We found a different path to go down. And it was fun. We saw different things, made it enjoyable. And we talked the whole way. You find what works and you make it a habit. You make it happen. But let's talk about why people fail at their habits or fail at their goals they're putting in front of them. What is the reason we fail? What is the reason we quit? Because it's one thing to motivate. It's one thing to make it happen. But let's take a step back. What about all those times that we tried to do something and it didn't work? We have to ask ourselves, why didn't it? What made me fail? What stopped me? And I'm going to say it's you versus you. It's a mindset. I think our bodies can handle anything we put it to. It's a proven fact. It's amazing what people do, the records that are being broken out there as far as running or hiking or whatever anybody's doing, or swimming or weightlifting. There are world records being broken every single year, and they're pushing the limits. So it is possible. I think the reason is we give up on ourselves. I think part of the reason is we put the goals too far in front of us to start. And we have to start with the small goals. But when we consider it a failure, it doesn't mean we should quit. We should just take a step back and do a little bit less until we can get to that next level. It's a doubt in our mind. We have to we have to use our mind to convince ourselves that we can do something. I believe my mind is my own worst enemy. It's the thing that's going to stop me from doing anything. It's going to stop me from being successful. It's going to stop me from going to work. It's that procrastination. It's everything. It's that doubt inside your head. You got to get rid of it. The doubt in my mind will stop me from being successful every chance it gets, whether it's doubt or whether you want to call it the devil on your shoulder. I think we need to cut out the doubt in our minds. We need to set different goals if we feel like we're failing all the time. We need to set smaller goals. You want that finish line to be a little bit closer. Yes, we can go farther, but make the finish line something achievable first, then push yourself to the next finish line. If you climb the highest mountain and you made it there, and that's the end of the road, find the next highest mountain to climb. You have to continually push yourself to become better. You have to continually push yourself. And it's one thing when I sit here and I say, push, 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 grind, 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 but you've got to think about your limitations and what you can do to be successful. We don't want you to fail. We don't want you to crash and burn. So make sure you set achievable goals and you accomplish those and then set the next goal. But don't make it so unattainable that you're never going to reach that goal. That's the first mistake of anybody. There was a time I was 315 pounds. I wanted to lose weight. It didn't happen in a month. It took a long time, and I'm still trying to lose weight. I'm still trying to get healthier. It doesn't happen overnight. So I set goals, and my goals at first was just 5 pounds. Let's lose 5 pounds, John. That's all it takes. If I can do that, then I can lose another 5 pounds. Then it was another 5 pounds. And then I said, okay, let's do 10 pounds. Let's focus on that. And then it was getting to 300. Then it was 290, 280. I set those 10-pound goals for myself. Then I hit a point where I went back and forth a little bit. And now I'm going back down again, which is good. But they're attainable goals. Haven't looked at the scale in 4 weeks. Tomorrow's weigh-in day. Tomorrow's the day that I weigh myself and see where I'm at. And I quit looking at it every single day. When I look at it every single day, I get frustrated. I get down on myself. Then I say, oh man, nothing's happening. Nothing's changing. But you're not going to see the change the first day you go to the gym. But you will see the change after 2 months of going to the gym. It's going to be a huge, huge difference. And I've heard people say, oh, I take a picture of myself in the mirror. I take a picture every day so I can see the changes in my body. For some people, great. For me, I'm the type of person I can't do that because I'm going to get frustrated because I don't see the changes. But if I wait a month and then do it and I see the change, all right, let's go. Then I push myself a little bit harder. Then I feel a little more successful. I get a little more motivated that I can do this just a little more. But create those habits that are going to put you on the path of success. But don't put the habits or change your habits to the point where you're not going to continue to do it because you let yourself down. We are our own worst enemy. I know I am when it comes to that. I want to be more successful than I was yesterday. But how do I gauge that? How do I look at that? How do I rank that? Now, I can look at a month ago, I am definitely more successful than I was a month ago. But was I more successful than yesterday? I don't know. But I see the change after 4 or 5 weeks. So stop looking at what your expectations are every single day. Focus on what you need to focus on for yourself. When you stack small wins, they become huge wins down the road. It's just taking one step right after the next. What are you doing to make yourself successful? What habits do you need to change to become more successful? What bad habits do you have that you don't even know are bad habits? And like I said earlier, I think the best thing to do is ask yourself every time you do something, if you're focused on getting healthy, hey, is this what a healthy person would do? Or if it has to do with something with work, hey, is this what a successful person would do? I'm in the painting industry, and I have to ask myself every day, is this what a successful commercial painting contractor would do? How would he look at this? What is the most successful thing? And there's tough choices in business. There's choices I have to make every single day. I've made a few tough ones today with a couple employees. We had to make some decisions on a couple jobs. It has to be made. One thing we try to do is with the people in the front office, and we kind of pulled away from this last couple weeks because we've been so busy, is there's 4 of us in the front office, and we sit down every morning and we talk about our win from the day before and what's on our plate. So we're all on the same page. If somebody needs help, we help each other. It's a habit, but it's amazing how fast that habit went out the door once we got busy. And we sat down this morning, we said, okay, we got to get back to this. Why did we get away from this? What happened? How do we make sure we don't do this again? Because we need this. It helps us plan our day. It helps us understand what we did the day before. Mondays are great when we do this because we talk about our win from the weekend. It's more of a personal thing. Now, Tuesday, tomorrow, we'll talk about our work wins from Monday and what we went through. And you can still throw in a personal win here and there, but it's more about the business, more about work. And those wins are success. And as you do this, it becomes a habit and things become routine. It becomes natural. And you're just doing things that become so easy that you don't even have to think about it anymore. It's like riding a bike. First time you rode a bike, you didn't ride the bike. You had the training wheels on. First time the training wheels came off, you probably fell off, went sideways. Your mom or dad was there helping you so you can continue, or big brother. But as you continued it, you got better at it. And it was a little bit each time, a little bit more each time. Got a little bit farther till all of a sudden you're just taking off. Then you got to figure out how to stop. Aside from crashing into something, how to use the brakes or put your feet down. The habit started day one of just hopping on it and starting something new on that bicycle. Day one, just put your sneakers on and get to the gym. Day one, just think to yourself, how would a healthy person eat? We have to change our mindset. And in turn, it's going to change our habits. Habits are easy create. Habits are easy to break, but habits, when you're consistent with it, becomes second nature, and it's not hard to do to continue. You just got to focus on it. You got to focus on what's best for you. Momentum doesn't care about you. It doesn't care about how fast you're going, what you're doing. But once you have momentum, the race is on. It just keeps continuing, keeps pushing, keep grinding. That momentum, that habit that you created, the success comes with it. You just got to keep pushing yourself. You got to keep grinding and get to what that finish line. Where is that finish line? You got to keep pushing and pushing. Once you've started the habit, it's just like baking a cake, making dinner. There's a process to everything. You can screw up a cake. You can screw up a dinner by doing it the wrong way or cutting corners. You have to have, it's the habit of baking that cake. You do a process of how it's supposed to be done. You read the recipe, you make it happen. There's a recipe to creating a good habit. And it starts with step one, going for a run, putting your tennis shoes on, changing your clothes, getting out the front door, putting on your headphones, dressing according to the weather or whatever you need to do. Do you put your watch on to track your steps? What are you doing next? How far am I going to go? You have a process. Now, as time goes on, you can improve on that process. I know my wife, she bakes a mean cake, and she has improved on them. She puts her own little tweak, her own little thing in there. Her cakes are amazing. And I hate when she bakes a cake because I always want the scraps or whatever left over, and it makes me fat. But I love them. And she's tweaked it and improved on it. It's the same thing with a habit and a process. You're going to tweak it. You're going to improve on it. That habit of just doing something so simple becomes something better. Your success will come with leaps and bounds that you don't even realize the change it's going to make in your life. You have to stay focused. There's guys that work with me and for me that, they really struggle creating good habits. I notice the guys that are there consistently on time every single day. And then there's the guys that, they're 5 minutes early, they're 15 minutes early, they showed up 5 minutes late. There's no consistency. Their habits need to be restructured. What is creating the habit of them of being inconsistent? What do they need to change? What can they do differently? Maybe it's how they have their morning structured. Maybe their habits aren't aligned right. Are they doing everything the same process every single morning? Do they need to change something in their process to make it smoother, to make it easier, to make it more functionable? I'm going to do everything I can to tweak and improve on my habits. Everything we do, even this morning, we locked the dogs up. We did it differently this morning. We're changing it. We're doing a new habit. We're giving them more space, making them more comfortable as they get older in age. Our two dogs are part Chihuahua, part Jack Russell, and they're about 13 years old. We've expanded the area that they have space in so they can wander around a little bit more. That way they're not confined to the small area they were in. So now we're having to remember, okay, we got to do this. We got to do this. We got to make sure this door is closed so they don't go in there. We don't want them peeing on the carpet, that we put the pee pads down. We got their water bowl where they need to be. It's a process. So we're changing our morning habits as of today to something different. In doing that, what are we going to forget? Because we're changing it, do we forget something else? We have to rattle it off. When me and my wife pack for a vacation, I swear we always forget something. Always. So we've created a habit of rattling off to each other what we're packing. Hey, I'm packing this. I'm packing this. She'll tell me what she's packing. We'll ask each other, hey, did you pack this? It's a reminder system. It's a habit that we've created so we don't forget anything, that we have everything in order that we need. I want to make sure that when I go on vacation, I've got everything I need. I got my deodorant. I got my toothbrush. Yes, you can buy a lot of that stuff on vacation, but why when you can take your own? Why when you can take exactly what you need? You're comfortable with it because you've created habits of using a certain product, doing things a certain way. I like my toothbrush. I like my cologne. I like my brush or my comb for my beard. I want consistency. And that consistency is a habit that I don't even realize sometimes that I'm doing. It just happens. It comes so natural. And that's what you create. So I want you to try to figure out a way to create new habits, better habits. What can you change in your life to better yourself? What can you do to create more consistency within your life? Whether it's waking up at a different time, try waking up 5 minutes early. If you're consistently 5 minutes late and you have been working for 20 years and you haven't figured out to set your alarm 5 minutes early, do it now. I want when you go home today, or if you're at home right now, change your alarm clock. Maybe you need to do 10 minutes early. Maybe that's a difference. Maybe your habit is hitting that snooze button every morning. Put the alarm clock on the other side of the room. Do something different to change your habits for the better to be more successful. I want to be the most successful person I can at work. I'm going to change my habits, tweak them, so I become better every single day. I want to be more successful every single day. I want you out there to be more successful. And if you just tweak or change one thing, make it so simple, make it the easiest thing so it's not work for yourself, and watch the change happen. You might not see it in a day, but in a week, you'll start to see a change. In a month, you'll see drastic changes because now you're going to start changing other things. That one habit's going to lead into something else, and it's going to be a snowball effect, and it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's going to get better for you. It will happen at work. Change your habits at work. You will see more money come your way. You will be more successful. You'll outshine the people around you. Maybe that habit is just setting up your workstation every day a little bit different to be more efficient. What can I do at work today to be more efficient? I'm going to change that. And then it becomes a habit, becomes something new. And we tweak it. We become better at everything that we do. I want you to focus on the little things first. Don't take the big things, because then you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Now, some people might say out there, "Oh, I'm going big or go home." I get that, but that's not for everybody. And honestly, even for myself, it's not for me. It starts with the simple stuff, the simple task of doing something different to become better. That's all it takes. Thank you for joining me here. Stay hungry.